All right, something that has been requested for me to check out for a very long time. I'm saying going on 3-4+ years, because people know I like to try out and maximize unique tools. And I think I've always say, it doesn't really matter the tool. It's if you're gonna use it and if you put in some decent effort and work. And with that, I'm gonna talk about one of the most classic, I'm gonna say hybridist, but definitely one of the first variable resistance systems out there. Way before we had things like resistance bands, we were maximizing things such as springs. So I'm talking about here the very classical chest expander, or as my kids like to say when they saw this out of the bag, I knew they'd be very excited because they knew instantly this is from the movie The Goonies. And by the way, what is sitting next to me is something else I'll be trying out later, which is a new X5 bull worker, which also uses springs. So I got a lot of spring-loaded stuff. I think springs are great, but there is a little caveat which I will get into. I want to talk about this Bells of Steel one, which was sent to me free for review, and I just simply asked if they wanted to throw it in with something else that I've been reviewing off camera. You guys might see it. They make some very cool stuff. This being one of them, a very top-rated product. It is, again, their version of a chest expander. They got some nice little knurling, very high-quality metal. I think it's priced around $95. I think it's competitively priced with another one that I'm drawing a blank. Starts with an R though. I'll flash it here on the screen. That one has been known for one of the best modern day chest expanders as far as quality. That is up there, but it is much more expensive. It's based in Europe, and I think they are not shipping due to tariffs right now in the United States. But I know a lot of people have told me, in fact, actually the guy who recommended me that I checked out this one, he owned the Bells of Steel and he owned that one. He said this is fairly comparable. The other one just has a little more stiffer springs, which I will get to. If any of you guys are doubting this and you don't know the history of chest expanders, you think it's just like a chest thing, but it's actually, I'd say, more of an upper body thing. You could do some unique leg exercises. For the most part, it is very similar to, I would say, variable resistance. You have these little springs that come with the handles that do feel really good. The quality, I say, is definitely there, and you are gonna see some exercises, and there's tons of exercises online. In fact, my man, I shouldn't say my man, he doesn't know me, but I've watched his videos, the Golden Era Bookworm. He's made some good chest expander videos. So if you're kind of doubting this and maybe rolling your eyes, which I know some people are, I just was kind of hesitant. I kind of definitely knew about him, but I didn't really think I'd really use it that much. The reason people kind of roll their eyes at is it seems maybe one kind of limiting. You think you can only kind of do one exercise. You can do tons of exercises, and I would still lump this up there personally as still kind of like a chair-based, I call it chair-based tools, like my grippers, my bull worker down here, even my isocinator, which is hanging up there. These are products that I personally can just fidget with and have a great workout with, and just sitting in like a chair or just in like a living room. The downside is you could certainly use this as like a warm-up or a finisher. Definitely you could superset with this in your commercial gym, but the thing is most people have things such as bands and cable machines and other new variable resistance devices that might kind of push this out the window. Now, with that said, I was right away very pleasantly surprised when I started playing with this. The downside and why I'm making this review so early is I tried something, and this is kind of the negative of why you don't want to try this. My creative mind started going. I knew this was potentially a risk in a number of fronts. I took my man Jason's little straps here, attached it onto these little Vex clips onto my squat rack. This is one reason you kind of want a nice sturdy squat rack. Definitely wouldn't recommend this. This is just something I was trying, so do not try these things, try them at your own risk. These Vex speed pins from Surplus Strength are great. Downside is they're always sold out, so I did cover in a video a long time ago these kind of very cheap knockoff ones, but you kind of gotta be careful. But they have stuff like this for 1-inch hole racks on Amazon. I strapped it to this and I started thinking, as good as this stuff feels standing up, I thought like I gotta rack this to something and start trying some exercises with the springs. And that's where I thought like I was having the most amount of fun with it, but I knew it was kind of playing with fire. And sure enough, the reason why you're only seeing 4 right now is because I went ahead, and I'll show you a clip of it, especially I think if you have less than, I think I may have 4 springs out at the time, you can overstretch the springs. That is the potential problem. Now this is nothing, I want to emphasize, nothing against the Bells of Steel product. This thing is great if you use it properly. But the reason I kind of wanted to test it, and this is one of the advantages slash disadvantages of such systems, and maybe why they're kind of phased out, and don't get me wrong, I still think this is worth it. I would still probably put this up there as a maybe a stocking stuffer if you're looking for someone who likes to work out. Kind of unique Christmas gift someone might not necessarily buy right away. This is going to be up there as far as if I make like a Christmas list mini stocking stuffer gift idea, that would be this. The problem with springs is that the life expectancy in this, and I kind of researched this, some say springs last a very long time if you take care of them, of which I did not do that. The problem is you cannot overstretch these because they will possibly, in worst case scenario, actually break and fail on you, and that could obviously be bad, but they can overstretch and now they're essentially ruined. And I will say, I don't know if it's I mean, just the nature of the beast, the warranty of the bells of steel one is actually 3 months. And I noticed that, sorry, 3 months on the springs. So that doesn't give me a lot of confidence just on the springs. Maybe they know people like me are gonna do something and that can happen. But I'd say that is where the advantages of, say, resistance bands kind of come in. And that is because you can obviously stretch these things very far. I would say the integrity of higher quality bands do last. I've had most bands, let's like this one right here, I've used for over 2 years-ish. It is totally fine. It feels exactly the same. And this gets a lot of use. This is actually from Clench Fitness, another good product and company down below. So that is the downside. I would say right away, I just want to put that out there for using something like a chest expander. I would say the comparison that I would note, as I already kind of said it before, very similar to variable resistance. I've heard reports people say it feels a little bit different. I think it feels extremely similar. What I liked about it mostly was just the speed I could just take off these little carabiners. And it is just kind of fun. I mean, you hear this little satisfying noise, and I do like the feel of just the handles. So that alone was just something unique, but I guess you could rig this to like a band tension type of deal. But that would be kind of the pro and con. I think that's why you don't see a lot of companies making these. I think they are kind of nostalgic. They definitely, I think, have their purpose, and a cool factor is there. But nowadays, I think because of the advent of bands and cable systems, most people probably are not using these, because if I didn't give you the history lesson alone, these were very popular prior to the golden era of bodybuilding, where a lot of people built their bodies, especially upper body strength, using some simple chest expanders. I think it's cool they actually make them. I think they're one of the few American, or I think they're a Canadian company, but one of the few companies who actually get a quality chest expander in the United States at least. So very cool. I'm happy they sent this to me. Hopefully they don't get mad that I actually try to test the limits. At the very least, this is a warning. If you get this, only use it in its proper usages. Stand up and do stuff. Do not try and anchor this. I know people do anchor it. If you're gonna anchor it, I would say don't do it. If it were me and I was gonna anchor it again, I would have more springs on it, but that would be the lesson I would kind of make with that. So very cool product. I don't think I need to wait too much longer on this because I did break it prematurely, but very cool. And thanks to Bells of Steel for sharing this, for sending this out. Stay tuned for more Bells of Steel stuff though coming up. They got some other cool things I'm trying out actually in the middle of this backdrop of this video I was doing right now. So now if you guys do want me to check out other chest expanders, I can do that too. I probably will be ordering more springs because I still want to play with this. I don't just want to throw it away. So I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.